world of advertising in the room tonight, right here, right now. In fact, we have Agra's second most famous tourist attraction after the Taj Mahal, that is. His name is Sonal Dabral, and people from all over India, all over the world come to India just to see his yellow pants and pink shoes.
Sonal, are you in the audience? Show us your yellow pants.
Yeah, I'm here. But I'm not wearing my pink shoes or yellow pants. So actually, that shows that I've been breaking barriers for a long time, at least in office clothing. 3-decade-long advertising experience. Maybe share some lessons that I've learned. And through those anecdotes kind of tell you something about some of the barriers that I broke along the way, or I thought I broke along the way. Sometimes I failed, sometimes I succeeded. I grew up in a whole lot of small towns in UP. In fact, I actually belong to Uttarakhand, where this lovely institute is located in this lovely region. But I grew up in very many small towns in UP and finally landed up in Agra. Now, everybody thinks that Agra is this. But actually, Agra is this, right? And I grew up here. And I'm really, really happy and feel blessed that I did all my living, most of my life, at least early childhood was spent here. Because all the insights and ideas and human insights and observations that I use today in advertising actually came from here. And the way one observed life closely. So most of the work that I do now, most of those insights actually were learned growing up here. And growing up in Agra, a whole lot of influences took place. You know, there was laughter, there was creativity of all kinds. And I think even my first advertising lesson happened in Agra, in those hot, dusty buses. We had these, there used to be this bookseller that used to come and used to go, ठक 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 ठक, भाइयों बहनों, आपकी बस जाने में केवल 5 मिनट का टाइम बाकी है। आपका बच्चा अंग्रेजी में फेल हो जाता है, कम नंबर पाता है। अब हम उसको अंग्रेजी सिखाने के लिए ले आए हैं एक आसान तरीका। इस पुस्तिका में कविता के माध्यम से अंग्रेजी सिखाना बताया गया है। फादर पिता है, मदर है माता, रिलेशन माने रिश्ता नाता। गन होती है बंदूक, बक्सा होता है संदूक। बाहर जाएंगे तो इसी किताब का कीमत 2 रुपया 2 रुपया 2 रुपया, लेकिन कंपनी के प्रचार के वास्ते हम ले आए हैं केवल 75 पैसा 75 पैसा 75 पैसा। जिस भाई को चाहिए आवाज देके मांग ले, मांगने का कोई कीमत कोई पैसा नहीं। And he used to sell all his books, you know. I said, wow, this is great. So, I mean, these influences and a whole lot of the fact that I was really interested in drawing, painting, I was interested in theatre, performing, that I decided that when I found out about design, I decided that I must do design and I must go to National Institute of Design. And that I think was the first barrier that I broke in my life. Because at that time, everybody, all the kids, everybody growing up, even parents, everybody aspired that their children should become engineers or doctors. The brighter ones aspired to be IAS officers. And I was kind of doing well in class, so everybody thought that I should become an IAS officer. But then I wanted to become a designer, and I think that was the first barrier I broke. Of course, there were doubts in terms of what I would become finally. What do graphic designers do? I didn't know. And all kinds of images used to come in people's heads in terms of what actually designers do. This was one of them, you know, finally after graduating. So anyway, I'm very happy that I did NID, and after doing NID, after doing visual communication at NID, I got into advertising. And the barrier that I broke was that the barrier of, there are many kinds of barriers that kind of you face. But one thing that one has to always do is to follow your passion. And that I think is something that I did, and my family kind of supported me in that. My first stop in advertising was Lintas, Delhi. And In Delhi, along with advertising, I used to do a lot of theatre. And I was interested in performing theatre, and that kind of led me to this television serial was offered to me, and my heart at that time was saying, go for it. But mind was saying, how will you do it? You've got a full-time job, you're kind of still junior in advertising. But since my heart was saying, go for it, I did. And that serial was Fauji. I loved the experience. There was like-minded youngsters kind of all facing the camera for the first time together, all kind of in a way breaking barriers, their own fears of facing the camera or the kind of profession that they were getting into. Take a look at the clip. So that now the serial became a big hit. We all became minor celebrities and some became bigger celebrities than the other. And here I am teaching Shahrukh how to act. Actually, I'm asking for a cigarette. So anyway, it's a great time we had. So the barrier that I broke again, we all broke in our minds was, sometimes your heart says do something, but your head says no. But the idea is embracing experiences. Ultimately, as many experiences that you embrace, it makes you a better person. Especially the experiences that you embrace are to do with your passion. It really, really helps. Next stop was Mumbai, and in Mumbai, one story that I'd like to share with you is for Cadburys Dairy Milk. And I had this opportunity to work on this commercial, and this particular spot, TVC, was heralded later as the century's best television commercial. It was awarded that in the year 2000. Now, Cadburys were the market leaders at the time, and the lesson here is that market leaders actually are true leaders, play off the front foot. They lead from the front, and they break barriers on the way. Now, until that time, advertising chocolates used to be only advertised to children. It was supposed to be a kid's product. And Cadbury's Dairy Milk for the first time decided that they have to expand the market. And actually target chocolates to adults. I mean, this sounds very odd now that chocolates are kind of everywhere. But at that time, they were only targeted, the advertising was only targeted to children. So this is the commercial that we worked on. And this commercial was all about magnifying chocolate eating experience as the real taste of life. As in, there are so many things that we don't do in life because we worry what the society will say. If society sees me as an adult eating a chocolate, what would they say? So akin to that, there are many experiences which under societal pressure we kind of don't do. This commercial was all about that. Take a look at this and then I'll tell you the little story around it. So we were shooting this early in the morning at 7 o'clock in the morning, and the first shot that we were taking was the girl coming out dancing, because that was a very, very important shot, that white shot. And I was sitting next to Piyush and I worked with him on this, and he was like brother, mentor, boss at the time. And I said, I've got an idea, right? Which is, what if we have few pigeons there? So that when the girl comes out dancing, in slow-mo as the pigeons fly, that will be all about freedom, And as an art director, I spent a lot of time thinking about the dress of this girl as in a floral flowing dress as against the stuffy grey suits of the rest of the universe. So Piyush said, idea is great, but the timing is horrible. At 7:30 in the morning, where will you get the pigeons from? Anyway, Bollywood is all there, pigeons were arranged. So shot is all ready now, and the girl comes out dancing, and pigeons refuse to fly. Because they are Bollywood pigeons, and Bollywood pigeons don't fly. So everybody gave me a dirty look. Because it was my idea, and I kind of delayed the shoot, right? So now, watch how the pigeons are flying. Yep. Watch it for the pigeons this time. And they are flying because this is what I was doing. The 2 feet that they flew was because of this. Anyway, the lesson, that jokes aside, but the lesson was that break barriers and leaders lead from the front, which is what this commercial taught me, because this whole experience of creating this campaign, where Cadbury had taken the decision to lead from the front and expand the market. Next stop was Malaysia. In Malaysia, I want to share with you a commercial that I did for an anti-smoking commercial. And this came about because while traveling in this friend's car on a hot summer day, I asked him if I could smoke. And he said, "Let me be nice to you. Let me put down the windows of the car." And he switched off the AC and he rolled down the window of the car. And I kept thinking, why should somebody be nice to smokers? And the answer came, and there came a script, which I later made into a film, and doctors loved it, smokers hated it. But take a look. So the idea here was that keeping the windows of your mind always open. As a creative person, it becomes really important for all of us. And we are all creative, to have the windows of our mind always open. Next little story of from Singapore. I was working at Ogilvy there. And this story we had written for Coke was all about positivity, about positive outlook to life. And we were shooting this commercial in Amsterdam. And the story was about this short stature person, a height challenged person, and how he overcomes that. So it was an inspiring story. We were shooting there. So one evening before the shoot, when all of us were meeting and kind of discussing the shoot, we met at the hotel's lounge. And in walked this actor who's supposed to play this. He flew down from London. His name is Kiran Desai. And he's done a lot of films and Hollywood films, He normally does stunts whenever these stunts are required, which involves little children because of his short stature. And as he came in, we were talking, we were discussing the film, and he actually owned the evening. He was absolutely, one could look at him and he seemed absolutely normal. You could never ever imagine that he was height challenged, that he was short stature person. He was absolutely confident. And to me, just looking at him was so inspiring. Next day we shot the commercial. Take a look at the film. But to me, it's one of my most memorable shoots because it was so inspiring. Just looking at it. Limits like this firmly in our minds, and don't let anything hold you back, because this is what I learned from here. This is because some of the barriers, break barriers, limits exist only in our minds. Which is the latest piece of work that I've worked on. And this is actually, the whole script is about breaking barriers. Even the whole process of making this film, we broke a lot of barriers. I had written last year the friendship anthem, Ye Number One Yari Hai, which had become a big hit. People really liked it. And so this year, the story that we had woven around this whole concept of number one Yari for McDowell's number one soda was, I found the story and the script so inspiring that I decided to even push myself, my own expectations of myself. And I decided not just to write the poetry for this piece of film, but I decided that I should also direct this film. So instead of just writing it, I thought I'll direct it also. The three actors that you see in this film, one of them is a professional actor, But he had this huge fear of heights and water. He overcame that through the process of the shoot. The two other actors were acting for the first time. They're facing camera. They're professional actors but never got a chance to face the camera. So personal stories of breaking barriers and the whole story itself of breaking barriers. So take a look. Told by the client that IPL is around the corner and we have to get on TV. But for TV we don't have any budget because IPL, TV becomes really expensive, TV advertising. So it was a small brand. We were talking to the youth. So I casually asked him, so what is an offer? So he said intercity call rates, reduced intercity call rates will be an offer. So I said that's fine. So what if we do an Indian Panga League, which is made of fans which belong to different cities, and all they do is kind of rile each other and take Panga with each other because they don't like each other's team. If they are fans of their own team. So they said, that's perfect. We got back the office, we wrote almost 100 scripts and we shot almost 140 scripts. We finally shot 105 films. They were all on YouTube for the first time because IPL was being webcasted live on YouTube that very year. So we didn't need to go on TV, but we owned IPL in a way on YouTube. Breaking barriers is possibly one of the most important things that we need to do in life. And all kinds of barriers will come today, tomorrow, some big, some small. And I hope we'll all continue to break them. And as I wrote a little line in that last film that you couldn't see, but maybe you can see it online, is that hum udne ke liye bane hain dosto. So let's not be restricted and be on the ground. Thank you very much.